Notts County Talk, back with another match preview for Stockport on Tuesday night at Edgeley Park. I'm a bit dubious going into this one after our two recent games. We didn't play fantastically, and Stockport are obviously, they're a strong side, probably one of the competitors for going up this season. So it'll be interesting to see how Notts fare, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Ardley, what Ardley does to change things, if he's going to massively change things to what he did on Saturday, and see what squad he puts out. So yeah, I'll hand over to Tom now.
Now, just before I move on to the stats, a big thank you to the Scarf Bagara War podcast. They've really helped us out in terms of Stockport County information and the players to watch. So thank you very much to you guys. So looking at the two sides then, pretty much identical. Notts sitting 5th, 36 points. Stockport is sitting 6th with 36 points. And the only difference between the sides, other than goal difference, is that Notts have 2 games in hand over Stockport. Notts have got the better of Stockport in the last 2 times we've met. So earlier in the season in the league, it was a very cagey game at Meadow Lane in which Notts came out 1-0 winners. Jake Reeves there with a goal. So I know Notts really had to dig in from what we watched of that game, and it was a fantastic win when things hadn't been going amazingly well for Notts. And a bit of a different fixture the second time that we played. Notts won 2-1 in the FA Trophy away at Stockport, and again there was quite a few different players in both sides as it was the trophy game. If we look at the form table, despite Notts' very, very poor loss to Chesterfield, not so much as the team we played poor, but the actual performance was dreadful. Notts actually sit first in the form table, 12 out of a possible 15 points, and maybe which could be on Notts' side this time. Stockport actually sit right down in 17th in the form table, 5 points out of a possible 15. And if we're looking at Notts as a team that are struggling to score goals at the minute, Stockport have only scored 1 goal in their last 5 games, which is a really, really big bonus for Notts if we're looking at the form of the Stockport goal scorers. So we'll move on to a bit more information about the team, and again, as I just said, thank you to the Scarf Bagara War podcast for helping us out on this. So as for a bit of info on the side, and basically they've echoed what a lot of people know: the heavy investment in pre-season, both in the playing squad and out of the playing squad. Big investments put them as heavy favourites to the league title, along with probably Notts as the 2 big teams there. People may have said the investment put Stockport ahead of Notts in terms of who's going to win the division. But it's not quite, the potential has not quite been fulfilled. Now, obviously, there's been a change of manager, and Simon Rusk is yet to get the best out of this side, as we've seen with 5 points from 15 available. He's just not put his imprint on the side, and that's echoed in that he needs a bit of time to get that squad put together. So that's sort of a rundown of their season so far, underachieved, but there could be a change around the corner if Simon Rusk can change this side around. Now, 3 players to watch out for we've been given. The first needs no introduction, John Rooney. Mentioned him in every preview against Barrow, mentioned him in the previews against Stockport. Gave it large at Meadow Lane when Barrow won 3-0 last season. Couldn't hack it when Notts got the 2-0 win there. I was getting absolutely slated by the away fans when we went down and beat Barrow. So, a player that might have a bit of history with Notts, something that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on. He's a very, very good player in this division, and as much as we don't really like him at Notts, there's no denying how much of an influence he can be on a game. The next, Liam Hogan, 32-year-old defender, previously played for Salford. He's got a lot of experience, and it's basically going to be a battle. Is he going to get the better of Kyle Wootton, or is Kyle Wootton going to get the better of him? It'll be interesting to find out. And the final player, Will Collar. Now, he's only played 3 games. He's signed from Hamilton, formerly at Brighton, and he's impressed in those 3 games, so he could be an important player. Especially as our midfield has seen a lot of play bypass through it in the past few games against Kings Lynn, especially against Chesterfield. Could they get the upper hand in that midfield battle?
Moving on to team news then, Cal Roberts and McCrory are out. Obviously, we did have that little bit of news that Cal Roberts could be back at the weekend for the FA Trophy game. Fingers crossed, all goes to plan, and he's back, and he's back to old ways, scoring goals and assisting. We've got Slocum, who's got 1 more game left to serve. I think he'll be slotting straight back into the squad because Pillion's been a little bit shaky, hasn't he? He's not looked, really confident. So, we'll be glad to see him back. And Richard Brinley, he has a slight groin injury, so he's going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks now. Another player that adds depth to the squad, and I think he's pretty much a first-team player, so we will miss him, I think. So the sooner he's back, the better. I am going to go on to the team selection now. I'm going to be a little bit controversial here, and I think people might disagree with me, but Tiernan Brooks in goal. I think give the lad a chance. It's a huge game to come into, I understand that. Tough opposition, and I just think give him a chance. You know, Pilling, I think he let himself down a little bit. I think he's going to be frustrated with his performance on Saturday. And Tiernan Brooks has got something to prove. You know, he's a young keeper who he wants to develop at Notts, you know, so I think give him a chance. As crazy as I may sound, why not? He's looked very strong in the games that he has played, albeit it might not have been for Notts and been a little bit lower down, but he's going to be rearing to go, I think, Tiernan Brooks, so give him a chance. Yeah, right back then, back four. I don't think you can really change it to what it has been. Obviously, Barnett has been out with because he picked up 5 yellow cards already this season. Obviously, those were with 4 of those were with Oldham. He picked 1 up for us already in the time that he has played for us, so he had to. It's a 1-match ban. So right back, I've gone for Dion Kelly-Evans. Centre backs are Lacey and Rawlinson. Left back, Barnett. Back four they've been really good. I think, obviously, you look at the amount of goals we have conceded, it does look good. And I do think they play well together as a back four. Gone for 4-2-3-1 again. Now, slight change here. I've gone for Reeves and Wolf. I think a lot of people agree with me on that one. I've seen a lot of people saying that Doyle was slowing the play down a little bit. I do think he was. He was slowing the play down a little bit on Saturday. And we need someone who's a little bit more energetic, I think, just to try him out for this one game. It's obviously, I don't think it's going to happen because of the mass of the game. But I would like to see Wolf and Reeves, see how that works. So yeah, that's those 2 there. And 3 in front of those, I want Knowles on the left, Ruben Rodriguez in the centre, and then Enzio on the right. I think Enzio was fantastic. He was really good against Chesterfield. Anything that we did create in that game seemed to come from him, so credit to himself. I think Enzio did really well. Rodriguez is Rodriguez. We've seen the goal that he is capable of scoring, and you know, he's a talented player. And Knowles, he offers so much. Like he always does really well on the pitch. He looks like the player that wants to do the most on the pitch as well when he's on. So give him a chance, I think, Ardley. And up top, Kyle Wotton, absolute workhorse. You know, you feel sorry for him sometimes because he's tirelessly working. Do I think that he could benefit from playing off someone and having 2 up top? Yeah, I do sometimes. I do feel like that, but it's something that we could interchange in games. We don't have to start that way. Just start as we are and try and play our game, you know, Ardley ball as people may call it. And if that doesn't work, maybe change things up. But yeah, that's the lineup. And my prediction, I'm going for a 1-1. I think it's going to be a very cagey game. I'm hoping Notts can pick up that sort of that good style of play that we have seen this season. Me and Tom were talking that the time in the Barnet game. I think it was like the first half an hour. We looked unbelievable. You know, the gap between us and Barnet in terms of footballing talent looked unbelievable. So if we could get back to those ways, it's frustrating, and obviously Carl Roberts is coming back on Saturday, so you know it boosts all those sorts of things of goals and confidence in the team. So yeah, that's what I think. And yeah, Tom's prediction now.
What do I think is going to happen in the game? I think that is going to be cagey, and I can't see Notts coming away, unfortunately, with a victory in this one. Their performances in the last 2 games, and actually if you go back before Dagenham to the Weymouth game, very poor. Maybe paper over the cracks, I don't know. But I'm still going to be optimistic and go for the draw. It's a very tough place to go regardless of what form Notts are in. I think it's going to be 1-1. I think John Rooney will get his goal against Notts. And I think Enzio might break his little run of not scoring, and I think he will get a goal. So my prediction is 1-1, a very cagey game. I think Notts' performance will improve because we seem to play better when our back's against the wall. But I'm going to go 1-1, Enzio and Rooney, the goal scorers.